What's up, Grounders?
With Sky Crew.
And we're talking about 2 episodes today because it's the weekend and we were feeling that badass. We were inspired.
So we got episode 2, which you watched a little while ago, so we have to remember stuff.
Yeah. So recap is basically, as we know, the end of the pilot ended in, Jasper got speared. And so they're basically looking for Jasper. And Bellamy's trying to get people to take the wristbands off. And that's pretty much a good summary of episode 2.
The episode 2, actually watched them kind of back and back, episode 2 and 3. And I think episode 2 was the lackluster one.
I agree. It's kind of, and it's the second episode. It's kind of just like, I don't want to call it a filler, but it's like, okay, so in the pilot we've set everything up, and now in episode 2, I think it's called Earth Skills, we're gonna continue the story that we have set up, but nothing really is gonna happen. Mm-hmm. And things happen. There's miraculously learn how to swim when Finn pulls her in. But we did make a couple of good observations, I think, about Bellamy being a dictator. Emphasis on
Bellamy is still douching it up.
Yep. He's just kind of, I don't know.
Basically, he's at this point where his goal is to take all the wristbands off because he doesn't want the Ark to come down.
And he does not care how he does it.
Does not care how he does it. And from last episode to, there are no rules. Yeah, now it's like, okay, there are. You follow my rules.
Yeah.
Not only my rules. And part of my rules is you don't get any of the food that I've hunted and killed unless you take your wristband off. Which
Finn calls him out on.
Yes.
I think you said it was the one moment.
It was the one moment I liked Finn.
He's just so annoying.
So annoying.
Finn is just a long-haired, what's up, bro?
Clown that's not even a funny clown.
Yeah, I feel like he's the surfer dude.
Yeah.
Of the 100.
And I don't like surfer dudes.
Me neither. And I'm just like, stop it, sir.
And they're obviously setting up, he's supposed to be Clarke's love interest. And neither of us are buying it.
No. And I can't even tell if there's chemistry. Mm-hmm. His character annoys me so much.
I couldn't find any chemistry.
Oh, there you go.
And this is, we both said we ship Clarke with other people in the show, but I didn't even ship Finn and Clarke I wasn't even shipping them.
I don't know that I've ever shipped
before
Finn
I
with
even
anyone.
Know. Yeah.
I finished.
I didn't even know about any future ships, but when this was happening, so I didn't know about anything else. I was still like, right. No, stop it. This needs to stop.
Yeah, I was going to say, as I was going through this the first time, a few weeks ago, I was just so annoyed by his character and everything that he says and does. And, I think he's got a couple of good moments, but for the
which was near the end was my one moment for him.
I was going to say, yeah, and I think I might have one more in episode 3 when he kind of lets Clarke on to Wells's secret, but
right now, it's just,
other than that, he has no purpose.
No,
other than to
be the pretty boy that you're supposed to like and cheer for, but
yeah,
and he's supposed to be Wells is supposed to be, but Wells obviously is setting up not to be on the show that long. He's supposed to be the anti Bellamy. Clarke is, but Finn is the anti male. Bellamy.
Yes. Yes.
But it's still just, I don't buy it, I don't like it, and I don't care.
It's true. And again, he has that one moment where he goes up to take the food while Bellamy is making people take their wristbands off for food. And Bellamy tries to stop him, and he just kind of throws Bellamy's...
There were no rules.
Yeah, there are no rules here. What are you saying? And then Bellamy punches a different person who is not
Bellamy felt
Finn.
like he was losing control, and it was must gain control again.
And that actually might have a lot to do with, how he reacted to Adam as well.
Because he told Adam, no one touched my sister. You were implied in that no one touches my sister.
I was like, Adam, you're going to be the babysitter, but come on. And so, that could also affect, why he then strung Adam up from a tree for kissing his baby sister.
It was asserting his authority again.
Yeah, which is ridiculous, but...
So back to Finn. He made a little crane or something. What did he make for Clarke?
He made, I think it was a 2-headed deer.
Made a 2-headed deer, reference to
Raven
episode
has
1.
A crane. Oh, we meet Raven this episode.
Yeah, and right when you showed... Well, we met Raven earlier in the episode. She's a very young mechanical engineer.
Yeah, I think she's the youngest one in 52 years.
Good job, Raven.
No big deal. Yeah.
She's young.
She and Abby are teaming up. Abby is basically going to have her fix up a spaceship, and then they're going to go to the ground.
Yeah. And the reason is we get lots of references to Raven knows very well, maybe romantically involved with one of the juvenile delinquents.
Yes.
Because the other mechanical engineers talk about her
like
visiting and stuff.
Prison visiting day.
And then she learns out that it's under quarantine. So she kind of searches, why is it under quarantine? And finds out they shipped everyone to the ground.
They're gone. Yeah. Which is stupid.
It is stupid.
Yeah.
The adults make a few more stupid decisions.
Yeah, they really don't stop. But, talking about Raven, I really like her character.
Raven's good.
She's like, I'm going to hide in the air ducts and find out what's happening because I'm the youngest mechanical engineer, spacewalker person in 52 years.
And then she is the only one to find out why everyone's dying left and right on the ground.
It's true. They're like, what's happening? What's happening? They're taking off their wristbands. What do you think is happening?
And I don't know if that's just because she's young, so she kind of understands, like, the young people, like, being like, oh, of course this is what they're doing. Or she's just Raven, she's smart. And I want to say it's a combination of both.
I was going to say, I think it's both, because I think she, Wells is very much a straight-laced, straight-edged, this is the rules. Yes. Yay, rules. Raven is not.
No.
I think she understands the rebellious spirits of the JDs and just kind of knows what they're doing.
Especially since she, spoiler not spoiler, may be closer to the delinquents than Finn. Closer in at least thought and actions.
Yeah. So yeah, she's just like, she is a true definition of intellectual badassery.
She is. She's good. Good.
Yeah.
She's the only one on the show who I can definitively put into one Hogwarts house.
Ravenclaw?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Everyone else I feel like is a combination of like all of them I can't pick.
I feel like Clarke is a Gryffindor.
She's a Gryffindor, but she's also a Hufflepuff because she's super loyal.
Well, yeah, but you can be a loyal and be a Gryffindor.
She's hardworking.
You can be hardworking.
She's Cedric Diggory and Harry mixed together.
Except her willingness to break the rules and to just kind of do whatever the hell she wants, but
that's a Gryffindor.
Yeah, because she knows it's right, and I think those qualities, outshine. She has Hufflepuff in her. I'm not asserting that she is 100 Gryffindor.
She would be a hat stall, so she would then choose her own house.
Yeah.
Which might be Gryffindor.
Probably.
I actually don't think she would go into Hufflepuff. I think she would not choose Hufflepuff, but I think she has more than the other houses. Not Gryffindor, like more than the Slytherin or Ravenclaw.
Oh yeah, definitely. We got to see Murphy being a little bit more of a dickwad in this episode. He would be a Slytherin.
He's just, out of nowhere, he's like dangling a young lady over fire and was like, hey, if we really want the sky people to think the ground is killing us, let's make it more realistic. And it's I just really want to be like, okay, cool. Can someone just go like spear him? That'll make it realistic, guys.
Why don't you go take Jasper's place, huh?
Yeah.
Huh?
Go take Goggles.
Sound okay?
And that just kind of remains what he does. He starts a fight with Wells. Mm-hmm. Bellamy at least makes it a fair fight, but that's still douching at Bellamy.
Yeah. It's really interesting though that Bellamy did that when Murphy and Wells faced off, and Bellamy steps in and then is like,
well, I think it was kind of almost just like a
fair fight.
Still putting his own, not really for Murphy, but to Wells to be like, first I'm going to mess with your emotions by stopping this. Yeah. And then I'm actually not going to stop it, but I'm going to assert my authority over everyone being like, you can do this fight, but here are the rules. You both have knives. Okay, now continue.
That's true. Skill has nothing to do with this here.
No.
Well, I think part of it too, this might be a stretch, but it could also be just like a glimpse into Bellamy's like not subconscious, like character, just because he wouldn't be willing just to let Murphy attack an unarmed man.
You don't think he would?
Well, clearly not, because he stopped Murphy and he stopped Murphy and he was like, fair fight, you're both going to have knives, which kind of implies like, I'm not going to let him do this to you when you don't have a chance to defend yourself.
At least make it even here.
Exactly.
And if you die, I'm cool with that.
Exactly. So he's still a douche, but I think that says a lot that he'd be willing to at least even it up.
And the girl, not Charlotte, just a random girl that Murphy was dangling over the fire. Mm-hmm. And also, Bellamy will not let anything happen to a girl on the show.
It's true, though.
Even in this episode, he's like, I'm going to get that wristband off Clarke if I have to chop her hand off. And then Clarke falls through the hole and he catches her and is like, not letting you go. Yeah. and that kind of continues. You know, we later, like, season 2, the girl is dangling off a cliff and everyone's like, we'll leave her. And Bellamy's just like, no,
we're not going to do that. Yeah. So I think he's starting to reveal his true colors. He's still a douche, still a dictator, but he's starting to reveal his true colors and who he is as a person. So
keep it up. Because right now you're hot, but you're a douche.
So
then let his hair be messy.
I know. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad that they just let his hair just do its thing. Oh. It wasn't like...
I don't know who decided to just let it do that, but thank you.
Yes, whoever you are, if you work for the 100 and are listening to this and you made that call on behalf of women everywhere...
Thank you. He was also shirtless in this episode, and we thank you for that.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, along with douching. He just...
All
Playboy Wells. He has Playboy ways. I think he has 2 girls in his tent today.
Yeah. He's kind of... He's a player.
He's a player.
He's a dictator player. But he's a good guy, despite...
We think he could be a good guy right now.
Yeah.
We think he could.
Well, and I think that's a whole other debate is... Like, are you a good person as defined by your character or your actions? Because again, his character is starting to show us that he is a good person, but his actions still belie that.
Or are we only thinking he's starting to be a good character person because of the few good actions that he's been doing?
That's the philosophical debate right there.
Egg, chicken.
I know. I think at this point in the show, it's too early.
Yeah.
You know, if this was my first time watching it, I would say that it's too early to tell. He's kind of that, like...
Unfortunately, we know the whole 2 seasons.
So. We know where he's going, but I think, like, if I were to shut my brain off from everything that I know is going to happen, I would just be like, I don't know that I trust you yet, sir, but you have potential. But speaking of Bellamy and screw-ups, can we talk about Charlotte?
Are we on episode 3?
Is there anything else in episode 2 to talk about?
Yes.
Oh yeah, go.
Okay, back to when Fenn made a little rock something 2-headed deer.
Yeah.
It goes from we have like the whole episode of Raven. We're getting alluded to. She knew very well personally one of the juvenile delinquents. Fenn hands her the rock, whatever, deer to Clarke, and it automatically transferred to a necklace of the same type of material that Raven has.
Of a raven.
Is it of a raven?
That's what I always assumed, because it's a bird and her name is Raven.
So then
I thought Fenn would figure he was clever.
Yeah, that's automatically... I'm just going to say, this isn't Fenn, knowing anything to do with... This is what I thought without knowing anything future at the episodes. Right when they showed that, it was automatically, oh man, she's going to come to the Earth and we're going to have a freaking love triangle. And I can tell you already, I was already annoyed at that moment.
Yeah, we can get more into that love triangle. Because I'll be honest, my brain did not pick up on that. I mean, it might have, but it didn't automatically go to crap love triangle. You're smarter than I am, my friend.
As we said, not a lot happened in episode 2, but episode 3 we definitely got a
lot
to talk about.
Oh my gosh. Wow, episode 3, they found Jasper and he's all dying and they go to find seaweed to save him. I think just physically what happens, that is the plot. But then also there's a subplot with this kid Charlotte. 12-year-old kid, girl. Charlotte is a girl. And that's just really interesting because she's having nightmares and she kind of has 2 separate moments, one right at the beginning and one halfway through the episode, with Clarke and Bellamy respectively. And then she goes crazy.
Do we find out in the beginning what her dreams are, or is it only at the end?
It's only at the end.
Okay, so she does not mention what the dreams are at the beginning.
Yeah, she just... Well, I think she says in the beginning when she's talking to Clarke had run over to her because, you know, she had woken up screaming from a nightmare or whatever. So she tells Clarke that she keeps having nightmares about her parents who were floated.
Okay, so we do know what the nightmares were.
Yeah.
Or something.
Yeah. I don't think we specifically knew what demons she would need to slay, as Bellamy told her to do.
Okay, so this episode is... Yeah, Bellamy and his crew are out hunting and Charlotte appears and basically like, let me hang out with you.
And he's like, okay, here's a knife.
Because he has a soft spot for A, kids, B, girls,
yeah,
and sibling stuff.
Yeah.
So he's just like, cool, here's a knife, hang out with me. We'll be like brother and sister.
And I mean, it is like when, she wakes up screaming around him because of her nightmares, it is an adorable moment. Because essentially he tells her, you gotta slay your demons, kid. And here, grip your knife and say, screw you, I'm not afraid. And it is quite adorable.
He is. He's like, look at me, I'm doing a good thing.
Yeah.
I'm being so nice.
Right? It's like, here, you gotta be tough and not afraid or you'll die. And to an extent, that's true. And that coupled with Clarke's advice of, basically, Clarke told her, like, this is Earth, we can turn over a new leaf. Leaf!
And then with something else that happens near the end, Charlotte took all these things to mean nothing about what they meant.
Nope. Because I feel like Clarke was basically saying, get over it. This is a new place, let it go. And Bellamy was just like, face your fears and let it go. And Charlotte decided to kill Wells.
Because she associates well with Jaha, who floated her parents. I saw that coming. I don't know if you saw that coming.
I did. Okay. Especially once she sat down with Wells. I was like, oh no.
You're gonna die, Wells. And also right when the flashback started, and then there were Wells and Clarke centers, then it was like, Wells is dying in this episode. Yeah. Sorry, if we knew anything from Lost, we know that means you're gonna die. Just saying.
Thank you, Lost, for giving us foreshadowing to shows everywhere. Yeah, and that was just, I was like, oh, you little child, what are you doing? Mm-hmm. So I want to backtrack. I feel like our podcasts are going to be very...
We're just stream of consciousness. Yeah. Because we don't have a script. I don't know if you guys know. This is us just talking about what we want to talk about.
I was going to say, this is basically us just talking to each other.
We're on a couch with a computer talking, and that's it.
It's a good time. It's pretty good. I'd recommend it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Except don't record podcasts about the 100 because...
That's us.
We're doing it. Stop it.
Suck it.
But talk about the 100 with your friends. Just don't record it.
And then tell them to, comment on us.
Yeah. Just say. Yeah, and that's another thing. Tell us what you'd like to hear us talk about.
Yep.
We'll try and stay on topic.
We have many opinions.
So many. So many.
And it does have to be about the episodes coming up. Like, don't ask us, what do you think about this character that appears in 202? We're not at 202 yet, so don't ask us about that.
Calm down. Don't get crazy.
Like anything like Anya related, we're not to her yet. Don't ask us about that.
Or Lexa. So many thoughts on Lexa.
We're not there yet. Don't ask us.
I'm going to try really hard not to talk about Lexa now. Moving on. Okay.
Let's just say we both have different people we want to Clarke with, and neither of them is Finn. So
I just would be really happy if Finn went off and just wasn't in the show.
Did we get our wish? Maybe. Who knows?
I don't know.
Right now, he is still in the show as of 103.
Yep. Anyway, so another interesting thing that happens in the episode that I'm going to tie back to Charlotte here is respect/heart eyes with Bellamy in regards to Clarke. Because there's a moment, there are several moments throughout this episode where Jasper is basically just like screaming in pain.
Everyone wants to kill him, by the way.
Which, okay, tangent on the tangent here. That makes me so angry that everyone wants to kill Jasper because it's like, okay, so he's dying and Clarke is trying to save him. And yeah, I understand that like his screaming is annoying to you and kind of freaking you out. Like I understand that. But if you were dying, like I would be comforted to know that if I was dying, they would try and save me. Like that, what? Well, like, why are they freaking out that she's trying to do a good thing and save a life? Because it's not like they have to worry about life support running out.
As we've learned about a lot of the delinquents, a lot of them are just douches and jerks and just like, don't really care about killing.
Freaking criminals.
So, and B, they also think he's a lost cause. Like, they think what Clarke's trying to do isn't going to work. So they're just like, just get it over with. Please.
And Bellamy confronts her about that and is like, you're just doing this because you don't have the guts to do the hard thing.
Yes, and that will come back later. But I will say, a lot of Bellamy in this episode, even when it is counter to what Clarke is doing, I don't think came out of the dictatorial jerk way that 1 and 2 has been. I think he legitimately being like, Jasper can't be saved, put him out of his misery, please. Like, if Clark's trying to be the good guy, that's his way of being the good guy.
Yeah.
And it's just not what Clarke once came across as antagonistic.
Yeah. And again, he's making that shift. He's still in the beginning stages, but he's starting to do that. Starting to be like, okay, you're starting to do your potential. You're still kind of a douche, but you're starting to achieve. You're starting to unlock greater levels of human being.
Good job.
Yes, level up, Bellamy. Woo! But yeah, so then later in the episode, Adam got caught in the acid fog because YOLO.
YOLO.
And also, you don't run fast enough. I don't know. Would that be I can't sound out that acronym in my head. You don't run fast enough, so that'd be YDR.
FE.
FE. First.
I don't think it works.
Nope, it doesn't. But anyway. And so he's basically maimed from acid fog, and Bellamy kind of has this moment where, like, Adam is begging him to kill him, and Bellamy can't.
No. Which is completely against what he's
been saying about Jasper. So he can talk the talk, but his bark doesn't bite.
Girls get the stuff done on the show.
Yep.
Which is evident because then Clarke...
Who run the world?
Girls.
Yeah. That's what you told me when I started watching this.
It is very true.
Yeah. But then Clarke comes along and kind of assesses the situation and stabs a 4-inch knife all the way into Adam's neck. And I still think that was excessive.
It went in there.
It very much did, but it just all 4 inches? That's just a lot, all the way up to the hilt. That's a lot to take. That's what she said. I know.
But so,
And Charlotte sees all this, by the way.
Yeah. We'll get to that later.
Yeah. And then Bellamy just, like, you can talk about his face, because I feel like this is your
This is my area. Basically, she stabs Adam in the face doing what Bellamy could not, and then starts singing. Kind of like I guess singing is supposed to be comforting. It happens a lot in fiction. I don't get it. But so, yeah, she starts like...
Unbreakable.
It's a miracle! That's a different show. But
I mean, I would be comforted if someone was singing that to me while stabbing me in the neck as I was dying from acid fog.
But so, like,
this show.
Adam is bleeding out quickly, and she's singing to him, and Bellamy is just staring at her, and that is the moment he starts to fall in love with Clarke Griffin, because it's just hard eyes. Those hard eyes continue throughout the rest of the season, like when he looks at her a lot. There's a Jason...
I would also call heart eyes respect for those of you who aren't on the Clarke ship.
And if you are, which everyone was at the first season.
Yeah.
Even Brittany was, no matter what she says. I have a text from her.
It's so incriminating. But it's true.
But there's a quote from Jason, the creator, that says, Bellamy inspires the masses, Clarke inspires Bellamy. And that is, I feel like this is definitely the moment that the Clarke inspires Bellamy starts.
I would agree.
Because he's just...
And it is a beautiful moment over a dead teenager.
Sorry, Adam.
Thank you, Adam, for the moment, but yeah, sucks to be you.
And as all this is going down, the neck stabbing and the singing, Charlotte's just creeping behind a tree.
Yeah, she's watching. She's like, oh, so that's what it looks like to kill someone. I'm not freaked out because I'm going to go do it and sing the exact same song, which I, again, did not catch at all. You pointed it out.
So Mom and Dad screwed up. They taught their child how to kill.
So unintentionally. But yeah.
Have we even talked about Wells in this episode?
No. So this is the episode. I think the big thing that you find out about Wells in this episode. Oh. What?
Yeah.
She made a face because this is not a video podcast. She made a face.
We totally didn't even bring this up at all. Continue.
Yeah, so in this episode, it's a flashback episode, so you kind of see the whole thing go down with Clarke's father finding out that life support only had like a year left, and then treason, and then floated, and whatever. And, okay, I want my name to be Queen of Tangents. Okay, because I'm about to go on another one. Now. Yes. From here on out, I am only the Queen of Tangents. But it frustrates me that they don't show Clarke getting arrested.
2 seasons in and we still haven't.
Yeah, because, like, it's as she is agreeing to help her father and he's saying, no, Clarke, I'm not going to let you do that, that he is arrested and then floated. But then in the first episode, they indicated that Clarke had been included in her father's charges. And so it's like, what? What?
I'm wondering, and I didn't wonder this before, and I really don't think this is planned with the writers, because the writers very much go season to season. Mm-hmm. They don't have an overall thing. It's season to season. But I am wondering if maybe in the back of their mind they have a very future episode and arc in which it is specifically, maybe this Clarke could do something after the father's arrest.
That's true.
That is about the father's plan to go public.
That's true, because even as she's hugging him goodbye, as he's being floated, like, she says,
I'll tell them.
I'll tell them, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. Hopefully
I don't
they
know
do
when
that.
She's, maybe spoiler, just chilling out in the trees.
Yeah.
In season 3, just also like, I'm going to ponder about back to my arrest.
Yeah. Just self-reflect.
But we do not have that scene yet. We don't know anything.
We don't.
Yeah.
Side note, if you are caught up with the show, go check out Clarke Leads Her People from the Tree.
Oh my gosh.
It's a comic that some fan is making during the hiatus, and it is glorious.
It's adorable.
It's so cute! And I almost want it to be canon. Like,
me too.
It's so cute. Where was I go? Oh yeah, so the big thing that we learn about Wells in this is he is not the one who betrayed her father, it was her mother.
Dun dun dun.
What? What? And yeah, so they obviously, before he gets dead, like, they have a moment of reconciliation. I don't like saying before he gets stabbed in the neck by a 12-year-old who thinks that she's slaying her demons, but really she's slaying a human
being. Who's probably the most rational one on the ground, but okay.
Right? Oh my gosh. Charlotte, what are you doing? What are you doing? And so I think that speaks a lot to his character, too. Yeah. Just that he would be willing to take so much crap, like death stares.
Just so Clarke isn't even more hurt by her mother's betrayal.
Yeah. Okay, I've never been, like... I've been Switzerland about Wells for all 3 episodes that he was in. I was like, okay, so you're puppy dogging after Clarke.
He does that a lot.
Mm-hmm. Like, he is Clarke's main puppy.
I love you, Clarke. How long are you going to be mad? Can we be friends?
Stop being friends. Arf, arf. But wait, start being friends, not stop. They are stopped anyway.
You've been neutral about Wells.
Yeah, it's just been kind of like, yeah, so he's a good kid. He's very much that, like, lawful good type character where everything he does is unexpected. And so I'm just kind of like, all right, I see that you're a protagonist. I'm not super like, yeah, Wells or Wells.
He can stay or go. It's kind of
exactly. And he went. And I was like, I think I was honestly more traumatized by the fact that it was Charlotte killing him than I was about the fact that he got killed, which is awful. But
I liked Wells, and I wanted him to stay, but I knew from the first episode it was only going to be a few episodes, so I purposely didn't get attached, because I was like, you're going to die soon, so
detachment.
I just...
Yeah. Oh, Wells. But I am glad that he and Clarke got that moment of reconciliation, and... You know, because then she would have, I think, been even more distraught by his death. And because people do that. They're like, oh.
If I did things differently.
My last words to him were words of anger.
I hate you.
I hate you. You killed my father. I think she was also wasted during that conversation because while they're she, Finn, and Wells are
looking for seaweed
to save Jasper. Yay, seaweed!
It's a miracle plant.
With healing properties, especially when brewed into a tea. Don't try that at home, kids.
No, that might be illegal. I'm not really sure.
Well, it might also be poisonous.
That too.
I was going to say, they're so lucky that Wells knew his earth skills. But, so they're hiding in, like, a car that they found.
Buried
under earth and stuff, and... They're like, they found whiskey. And
lost moment, number multiple moment.
And they find whiskey and just get plastered. And Clarke goes off on Wells.
You didn't deserve that, Wells.
I was like, when I first watched this, I was cringing, like, physically. I was like, this is bad. This is so real to what actual human confrontation looks like. And it's awkward to watch. And it's the only moment that I've ever felt bad for Finn.
Really?
I felt bad that he just had to witness that.
Oh, he's like the third person. It's
Yeah,
like, why am I here for this?
Yeah, I didn't feel bad for Wells for being chewed out by Clarke. Felt bad for Clarke because of the hangover she's going to have. But Finn, I felt bad for just because I could not imagine being in that situation. And, like, literally being trapped by poison gas.
He's like, I literally cannot leave this van. Yeah. So I have to be stuck here with you guys.
Oh, dear. Oh.
Which, can I mention something, speaking of Finn and Wells and Clarke?
Yes.
At the beginning, is either this episode or last episode, I want to say it was this episode. Mm-hmm. Bellamy, like, you know, Wells is trying to get nice with Clarke. Bellamy basically says, like, she's never going to give it the time of day, not with Finn around. And I would say, well, I do think maybe Wells had feelings for Clarke. I don't think his intention, you do?
Yeah.
I don't think his intention was or ever would have been trying to be romantic. So I was kind of, it was just setting up again another, ooh, look, Clarke really is digging Finn. I'm just like, stop it. Stop it.
Yeah. / Clarke is the babe of this show and everyone wants her.
Everyone wants her.
Including the women. What?
I'm trying to think if you can argue against anyone on that.
I mean, we don't have any empirical evidence at this point that...
Nope.
Yeah.
I think someone on Tumblr said it takes less than... They actually counted it out. It takes less than 15 days for someone to fall in love with Clarke.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know that Wells... especially given the state of their relationship for all 3 episodes that he was in, like, would have ever pursued her. But I think if one day she were to be like, I love you, Wells, he would have been like, I love you! Thank you!
It's a miracle!
Yes.
But I don't think that was his purpose of following Clarke around trying to get on her good side. I don't think it was not romantic purposes.
No, which is...
not like it was implied in that moment.
Yeah, which is good. I'm glad that, like, this show is able to portray, like, a guy having feelings for a girl or whatever, but also not pursuing that and just trying to, like, be a good friend to her.
He just wanted to be best friends again.
Yeah, and I think that's really great, and that's really healthy that they showed that, and I think in that respect, I am kind of sad that he's gone, but again, his character, I was kind of ambiguous.
Sorry, Wells. I knew it was going to happen, so I never got attached.
A lot of what he represented I like, but his character ended up, like, I was just like, alright, he gone.
Goodbye. Well.
He's a little Frodo, too, because she cut his fingers off. I'll never understand how that child cut a man's fingers off. Because as you said...
It's fairly blunt.
Yeah, like, that she's 12. She's a tiny 12-year-old child.
And I feel like, it's kind of... You have to have a little bit of force also to break his skin that much.
Well, it came to a point...
Oh, the knife. Okay.
Yeah, the knife, his neck came to a point.
I didn't know what you were talking about for a second.
No, well, I mean, the knife comes to a point, and I feel like she hit the neck in the exact same spot that Clarke did for Adam, too, which I was like, I don't know that she tried to do that, but I definitely think the creators did because aesthetic. But I'm touching my neck right now in that area, and I feel like it's soft. It wouldn't be that hard to just, like, jam. Even a dull blade. It wouldn't be that difficult to jam it into a neck. But cutting off the fingers, like, that's bone.
Like we're talking about how to murder people. Cut things off.
Well, this is the 100. It's inspiring in every way. Not in an actual way.
We're not going to go stab people in the neck, sorry.
We just like talking about things. What? I don't know. We haven't talked about Octavia at all.
Oh! She's on board with the Save Jasper right now. I don't know how much of it... I mean, I think later she becomes fond of Jasper, but I think right now it's more of she's annoyed at Bellamy for stringing up her love interest. I want to get more to that in a second. Yeah. But for, punishing her love interest, basically, that she's just kind of being defiant against Bellamy right now, just doing like, oh, you don't want Jasper to be saved. I mean, I think he wants Jasper to save, but he doesn't think it's worth it. So he's like, I'm gonna go, see if I can help them anything. Does she take the bracelet off yet? I mean, keep the bracelet on? She's still keeping it on, right?
I think so. Yeah, because I think actually Monty...
No, she has it off, but she gives it to Monty to
try and make into a radio, which
don't know if it's this episode, but it happens sometimes.
It was, yeah.
Okay.
It was.
So I don't know how much of it is actually... She wants to be the good guy to say Jasper, and how much of it is just... Bellamy, I just want to defy you right now.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think a lot of her motivation there was to rebel against Bellamy. But, I mean, I thought she was hilarious in these episodes. Like, when Adam got assigned to be her babysitter, she was just like straight up, I'm gonna make your life a living hell. And proceeds to do so. Like, yeah.
Well, thankfully, the one time where she was messing with him, it was with a murderer, so he did the right thing by,
Yeah, when she did, because she dragged a murderer to go
make out
the sex.
Or the sex.
Yeah.
That's what I want to talk about for a minute.
Go.
Octavia Blake has been in the floorboards for 15 to 16 years of life. She's only interacted with her brother and her mother except for like an hour at a masquerade ball where she was just timid and calm and didn't know what to do. And we haven't even gotten to that episode, so that's a spoiler.
And kind of freaking out. Yeah.
So I want is the skybox co-ed? Because I always assumed it was gender assigned. So if it was gender assigned, she's gone 16 years with no romantic
male,
which we're assuming that her sexual orientation is for male right now.
Yeah.
For men.
We have no indication otherwise.
So I'm just like, how is she just so flirty and sexual when she's had no experience whatsoever? That has bugged me throughout the entire 2 seasons.
That is a great question. Books.
Is she in the books? I only know like 4 characters actually in the books. Hey viewers, is she in the books?
Oh, I just meant she could probably read
books.
You
mean that. Okay.
Because, I mean, I'm an awkward person, but I cognitively understand how to flirt.
Do you? Or is it because you've been around?
No, actually, because I did speed dating at Comic-Con and I got a lot of numbers, so I think I'm good at flirting.
Good job.
Thank you. Yeah. If you ever get a chance to do speed dating at a Comic-Con, do it for the story, because there are stories, but that's not pertaining to this podcast. But so I'm saying, like, having read a lot, I understand cognitively how to flirt. And I was recently able to apply it successfully. So it's possible. And she also doesn't strike me as a shy person. You know, I mean, like,
even with the flashback, which we have not reached yet.
Well, that's from what we get to see of her later in the arc, she is timid, but I don't think being timid and being afraid of discovery is equated with shyness in this case.
Touché.
Because especially, like, if we look at how she's been interacting with everyone on the ground, she ain't shy.
No. Which is why I want an answer from the writers. Are you allowed to interact with other people in the skybox? But did she have friends?
It's true.
Did she have any female friends? Did she have a roommate? Clarke only had one bed in her cell.
Yeah, but I think they referenced that she was in solitary.
Clarke?
Yeah.
Okay, so is solitary good or bad? Is that really worse? And did she... We just need the Clarke episode of Arrest.
We really do. Dear 100 writers, listen to this podcast and bow to our demands.
Please.
Except, pretend that I phrased that better, because that's actually a thing that I would really like to see and that I think would complete the world and help us understand a lot of things. Thank you in advance. So Octavia is crazy. So did you want to talk about Adam being strung up at all before he got dead?
Adam made out with Octavia. Bellamy saw... And Bellamy
strung him up to maintain power. We already covered that. Yeah. Yeah. I think at this point, Octavia is still her firecracker self. Yeah. She's just like, don't tell me what to do.
And these 2 episodes was where she found the glow-in-the-dark butterflies and followed them.
Which was cute. Oh, so I guess they did keep up the glow-in-the-dark stuff from the first episode.
At least 2 or 3 episodes. I don't know we'll find out after this if it continues.
Well, after watching the pilot, I was like, oh, I don't think there's ever glowing stuff ever again. But there is.
We saw a grounder.
Yeah.
Nothing really happens. I mean, they spear Jasper and they take 2 random grounders that we don't care about.
And then one of them is watching them. And
way to creep.
A little bit.
We don't know who that is yet. I mean, we do because we've watched the episodes.
But if this is your first time through...
You don't know who that is.
You ain't knowing. What? So yeah, I feel like it's going to get crazy in the next episode with Wells being dead.
So dead Wells.
So... that's the other thing, actually, that I wanted to talk about is kind of how the crisis of conscience that Counselor Jaha has...
Oh!
Because he's like, oh, we sent all these kids down there to die because, as we know at the end of the pilot, Wells's bracelet is forced off, so they all think that he
thinks Wells is dead.
Yeah, the Chancellor now thinks that his son is dead. And he's starting to have a crisis of conscience about it. And I feel like Abby's like, really? I sent my daughter down.
She thinks her daughter's still alive, though. So she
True.
doesn't have that moment of, crap! But yeah, she did send her daughter, though, knowingly.
She understood that was a possibility,
Yeah.
like, whatever. But it is an interesting crisis of conscience, I think, that he has, realizing, like, that he sent children down there to die, but actually they sent it to find a way to live, but just the immediate...
They didn't know if the children would live or not.
I think he's realizing that he might not be okay with the means. All right. Well, thanks for listening.
We'll get back to our rants about 4 and 5?
Yeah, 4 and 5. We might as well at this
4
point.
4 and 5 in a week.
Yeah. And it'll be good, and have a good one.
Adios.
Don't kill anyone.
Don't be a Charlotte. Bye.
I guess that's love. I can't pretend. I can't pretend.